Welcome back to Beeranid 40K, where today we have the leaks for a lot of things coming in 9th edition. We have what looks to be the full price difference for Space Marines, among other things, such as what constitutes a blast weapon now, what gained that buff. And so looking at the screen here, we can see, everything in red is what is the new price. Go ahead and screenshot these if you would like. The points that you were spending per model is now in 9th edition, starting what you're going to see in the red. So this is the Space Marine section here. Captain for 80, things like that. As you're looking around on this, you'll notice that some things went up quite a lot. Some things didn't go up basically at all. Some things went up like over double in price. For example, the Whirlwinds, which we'll look at in just a moment. But it's looking like captains, smash captains, things like that, probably still viable. It's a good thing. One of the things that I found interesting looking at this is how much the Aggressor Squads went up. They are almost double in points, just 1 point shy of double with the Aggressor Squads, still able to be taken in a squad of 3 to 6, now costing 40 points per model rather than 21. That's quite a big jump, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just, this is what we've seen so far. Look at the screen, see what you think, and we'll move on now to some of the other things that we can now see. So here we have blast weapons by faction for 9th edition. Interestingly for me, with the Gene Stealer cults, the blasting charges, the Kasha demo charges, demolition charges, heavy mining laser, and mortar are now all considered blast weapons, so they get that buff against the bigger squad. The Space Marines got quite a lot. Their basic grenade launcher, the missile arrays, the bolt sniper rifle, Centurions just got a big buff there, Cyclone missile launchers, Deathwind launchers, all this kind of stuff. The basic frag grenades, all of this is now considered a blast weapon. And again, so if you're looking at the screen right now, you'll see that all of the Imperium kind of factions are in blue. We're looking at Astra Militarum, basically. It's things like the battle cannon, which we already knew about here for 2 weeks. We were hearing about how everything would be shooting that was tanks. They would now be shooting in combat. We know that blast weapons cannot shoot in combat, so it'll only be sponsons if it's armed with, say, for example, the battle cannon, anything else that you're seeing on here, demolisher cannons, things like that, Eradicator Nova cannon. All of these are now blasts, and that's going to have some interesting interactions now as you're moving through and experiencing this new addition with your armies. So the red factions that you see down here, these are all the chaos kinds of things. Which again, the battle cannons, things like that, blight grenades are now blast, which we kind of figured. Everything that was a grenade, as we were told, was probably going to be blast. But it's kind of cool to see, like, for example, the plasma cannon we now know is a blast weapon, so it gets that buff against the bigger squad. And then all the green, you have the Xenos. So orcs, you're looking at the death cannon has gotten a buff now. The Labas, which is cool, that was already a anti kind of a infantry weapon that now all of a sudden we know gets a buff against bigger squads. Shock attack gun, all those kinds of things. And it's kind of neat to see this all at once, basically, and be able to look at this for the first time for what we can expect in the new edition with Tyranids. Barb Strangler, hey, they're now a blast weapon. Shot cannons, venom cannons, all of these things. You wouldn't normally be putting venom cannons on light infantry, I think. Not a lot of people were running those anyway. Warriors weren't very popular too much. I think they started to get a bit of a buff with the build your own kind of sub-factions that they had kind of available to them towards the end. But yeah, so this is what is going to be blast, guys, in 9th edition that we know of so far. So looking here, we have just more of the weapon costs for the Space Marines that may not have been included in the other tables. So again, the Whirlwinds went up a lot in price. The Castellan launcher is now 0 points. It was 15 points before, but again, the Whirlwind is now double the cost. So with the Whirlwind Vengeance launcher, that is now double the cost plus 10, even though the weapon itself went down 10 points. So again, screenshot as necessary to get preparing and start building your lists, get ready for this new edition. So we're also going to look today at some of the different things that are available for the new Indomitus box. We have prices on that as well. Again, just some more prices and things like that. We have the Space Marine War Gear, what we can expect to be paying in the new edition. So again, take a moment, screenshot that. We're going to move on and look at this Indomitus stuff. So the Indomitus set What we have is the Blade Guard Ancient, for example. We see now he's going to be costing 85 points. The Assault Intercessors, we know that a regular Intercessor is supposed to be 20 points now, so you're saving a point by taking the Assault Intercessor squads, which I find kind of interesting. Next, like I said, we get into those Blade Guards, those models everybody are the most excited for, from what I've seen in the new box. And the Ancient is going to be 85. Okay, that's, he is a character, that's expected. But the Veteran Squad, 35 points per model. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you think that's too much compared to some of the other things that we've seen in these leaks all of a sudden? Eradicator Squad, those new Melta Boys, we know they're 40 points each. So right in line with the Aggressors, which kind of makes sense, I guess. They fill a similar role, it would seem. And then, yeah, the Firestrike Servo Turrets. I guess this... let's see here. So Firestrike Servo Turret, you're looking at 90 points. Or you can put it with the Las Cannon for 130. So actually, this might not be what was in the set, because I didn't see us getting a new turret in the box. I only saw this. I thought it was a leak that was coming separate. We have the new ATV price, again, something that's not in the actual Indomitus set, but that's going to be 80 points for that little go-kart. The Judicar, the Headhunter guy, he's going to be 85. We still don't know what he does, but we know how much he costs. And then Outrider Squad. So those bikes, 45 points each. How interesting is that? Do you think that's too much? Let me know, because I was thinking about getting 2 copies of this Indomitus set, and I'm not sure what to think of that. It doesn't seem kind of too high, doesn't seem too low. They got a lot of things going for them when you look at the data sheet. Maybe that's something we could talk about in another video, perhaps. But Primaris Chaplain, you're looking at the 85 points there. Chaplain on bike, 130, which is interesting. You can take a Primaris Chaplain on bike. This is probably going to be a model that comes out later. See, this is an interesting tease, because we're seeing this for models that weren't even basically out yet, or even teased yet. So this might be what is teased next Saturday. We get to tease for that Primaris Chaplain on bike. We already know he's going to be 130 points. And I think that this is because these leaks, they have the Mournival logo on them. So what I'm seeing from that, those are the head playtester kind of guys. Somehow this got out, and it's... basically, they've had access to a lot of this to play test it, and that's why we're able to kind of see now. And the Primaris Lieutenant is now 90 points stock, so let's keep going here. And so yeah, I guess that's going to be it. We're getting back to the standard points cost again. One more time, take a look at this, screenshot it if you need to, go back to the beginning if you want. But this hopefully helps you to start kind of planning your armies a little bit. I'll get this up, and let me know if you like this. If this is good content that you enjoyed, then hit that like button and subscribe. This is Beeranid 40K. I'll be back again soon.